Hey everybody, I am Chase Barker with Solana Mobile. I'm here with Ryan Chen of Crypto Fantasy League, here to talk about all things Solana Mobile, Seeker, and obviously Crypto Fantasy League. So first off, Ryan, what is CFL or Crypto Fantasy League?
Crypto Fantasy League, we are trying to turn crypto trading into something fun, social, competitive game, basically a game. And what players can do inside our game is they basically can create a token squad. A little bit alpha. It's not going to be just token now. In the future, we're going to add some assets, more to come. And then that squad is essentially a portfolio consisting up to like 5 tokens or other assets. And then from there, you can pick either long or short, and then you can battle against other people, and the winners is determined by the PNL or the performance of that portfolio.
So is it purely trading? Like, what's the fantasy portion of this?
So the fantasy part of it is actually you don't have to actually buy or hold the token itself. You can just pick to create that squad.
But I've seen your sort of like animations for the game, and like, what's that all about? It's like very like sports-like.
It is. It's like the whole team, because we wanna take it the fantasy part. We wanna appeal to like the European market.
Yeah.
That's like one of our first go-to market, and it works so far. Like 60% of our users are actually from Europe. So that's like one appeal of it.
I think the first time I saw it, I thought it was like a sports, like a European football match.
Yeah. Funny thing is,
Then I downloaded it and I was like, that's not what this is.
it's a trading game, basically. Yeah.
You guys were actually super early on like Solana Mobile and Seeker. Obviously, not every team is able to sort of prioritize it. What was your sort of like deciding factors for prioritizing something like Solana Mobile for you?
Of course, the distribution. At the time, the numbers are 150K pre-orders, and then counting. I think it's more than that now, because people are ordering more. I think you guys reach like 180K,
Yeah.
200K, I would say.
So distribution.
Distribution is number one, and then our target at the time is now is also the crypto native users like Web3. They're familiar with wallets, and then. Just to give a little shout out, the onboarding process on Seeker is fantastic. It's very smooth.
We got a couple beasts on the team. Akshay and Mike are out there, and they're awesome.
That's true. I love them.
Outside of sort of that portion, like, what's the experience been like for you guys? Like, getting onto Solana Mobile. Just overall, just the experience for building for it.
It's awesome. It's been great. It's very easy to kind of like get into the store. Early on, I don't know what the process is now. Right now, I assume it's gonna be different. And then the team, Mike, Akshay, you guys have been like very supportive from the start. And we're super grateful for that. And the experience has been great.
Yeah, and you guys were in our first batch of our, like, I don't even know what you call it. We can call it an accelerator, but really what it was more so just getting all the Solana Mobile bulls together and sort of like trying to help support them. So you guys have gotten some love from Anatoly recently.
Yes.
I saw you guys very excited. I think the one thing about there was a little bit of a cheat code on Solana. If you build for Anatoly's phone, you're gonna get a lot of support publicly, which a lot of people might not realize, or maybe they do, or maybe they don't. Is like an Anatoly retweet is worth a lot of marketing power behind there.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
So how was that? Whenever you start to see Anatoly retweet your little baby.
Yeah, it's super exciting. At the time, I was at the office together with the team, and then our CEO Jonas suddenly called me out of nowhere, and he said, "Hey, Toly just retweeted us." I was like, "Oh!" And then we just check it out, and everybody was like cheering and stuff. And then he actually retweeted us a couple of times. Actually.
Yeah.
And then he actually gave us a shout out, name dropped us at the stage just a few hours ago. He was talking about Seeker, how great a distribution it is, and I said mentioned CFL, Perina, and all of those other projects, great projects in the Solana mobile ecosystem.
For some of the biggest, largest apps out there, initially mobile might not be quite as compelling, but for like people that are trying to make a name in their space and they don't want to fight against the sea of Solana competition, the sea of every other blockchain and every protocol within your entire vertical, you have if you're trying to get your first 1,000, 10,000, maybe even more users, it is a cheat code for that.
It is.
So since you guys have been on there, how many actual users have you been able to acquire through Solana Mobile?
So in total, we got 20K users, 20,000 users, and 50% of those are actually Seeker users. So they're actually like human verified users, I would say.
Because you have to have your like Seeker wallet,
True.
and like so it's kind of like
Yep.
it's not just a bunch of bots.
Yep. Yep.
You have to have the physical device, so you can almost guarantee these people bought a phone,
yeah.
they set up a wallet, and it's not just some sort of it's not an easy way. There is actually no way to fake that, really.
Yep. That's true. That's true.
Is your entire team already experienced game developers?
Actually, no. We used to be like just a dev shop, but
Crypto dev shop?
Web3 dev shop, yeah.
Yeah.
We used to like build DeFi stuff and all of that. But it's very easy actually to build. It's very similar, I would say. Just the difference is like we're focusing more on the UI right now, because since it's a game, and of course the UX, and Solana Mobile UX very helpful with that.
Yeah, and a lot of people will always ask, like, is it hard to build on Solana Mobile? And sort of like my advice is like, if you already have experience building on Solana, learning mobile isn't like super complicated. There's infinite tutorials or infinite
Sure.
educational material. How was it for you guys just generally building on the Solana Mobile Seeker? I mean, it's not too much different from just Android in general.
That's true. Yeah, it's actually very easy. I'm not very technical, but
I was about to ask, are you personally an engineer? But
No,
I'm sure
I'm not.
you've had to listen to the engineers.
yeah, of course. Yeah, I tell them a bunch of stuff, but yeah, they had a few trouble at the start, but well, you kind of have perfect things, right? But again, you guys are very supportive, and it's actually very easy because you can just turn it into MWA. You can just integrate that into the app.
Yeah.
The mobile wallet adapter. That's very easy
That's
to
pretty
integrate.
much the key thing.
Yes. As long as you nailed that, everything is buttery smooth.
You guys have already done your Seeker season, correct?
Yes.
How
Just last week.
Just last week. So how did that go for you guys?
It went super great. So it gave us like a lot of boost. We got additional more than 2,000 Seeker users just that week, and then we tripled our average volume, and then we see a huge spike in the app usage.
Yeah, a lot of people will sort of reach out and be like, "Hey, like, how do we launch on Solana Mobile?" And like, I think they think it maybe sometimes it's like it's gated and they need some sort of permission. Well, you have to go through the dApp store process. But I think what most people are really asking is like, how do we get support from Solana Mobile? And like for anybody like asking that question, the real truth is, if you ship something and you actually take the time to care and you're actually trying to build something real, the team will see you. They'll notice that, and then Akshay and Mike and everybody else will be in your DMs being like, we see you're taking this seriously. How do we help? Then eventually Anatoly will find out and hopefully retweet you.
Yes.
And then you'll be like, okay, now I see why people were building on Solana Mobile.
That's true.
So yeah, just getting that support it seems to be super helpful for a lot of people. What excites you sort of about Solana Mobile outside of the distribution?
It's how the kind of like the philosophy behind the dApp store is trying to disrupt the duopoly. That's one thing that is very interesting to me. I would very much be very excited to see how that plays out in the future, in the long term, because they're taking like huge fees, right? These two giant players duopolizing the whole market. So that is one thing that I'm really excited about.
Yeah, and I think for me, like the one that like doesn't get talked about as much, well, I mean, I guess we do talk about it a decent amount, is if you're building a crypto app on a crypto phone, you get crypto native users.
That's true.
So if you're like try to build this in somewhere else, people don't know what a wallet is.
Yep.
But if you bought the phone, you're a power user. You know how crypto works. You don't need a lot of instruction to use specific apps, especially a trading app. People are like, open up the phone and they're like, set up the wallet or connect their wallet, and they just sort of get it.
True.
So their only objective is to understand how to like use your specific app, but you
Yep.
don't have to teach them crypto.
Yeah, a little fun fact actually, like some of our power users are actually not Web3 native, which is surprising that they bought the phone, but they're
Really?
a little bit familiar with wallets and stuff, but they're not like very active in like Web3 communities. They're just your regular Joe working regular job. They found the phone interesting, and then they got into our game, got hooked, and then get exposed to the other project in the ecosystem.
This is talked about somewhat publicly, but like the devices are probably always going to be a staple of Solana Mobile, but we've also been talking about after going after those non-crypto native users, and that's essentially getting the dApp Store software or the Seed Vault wallet as well as the dApp Store on other distributors. You know, you could go into Southeast Asia or Latin America and find somebody who makes globally a small amount of phones, 20 to 40 million phones per year, and distributes them. They have all the licensing. And then if Crypto Fantasy League is in the dApp Store, that dApp Store goes onto a massive distributor's device. You now have a total addressable market that goes from 150,000 to 20 to 40 million. Not all of them are going to use it, but you know, they have the phone, they get an airdrop. Next thing you know, they're like, become a degenerate on
Looking
CFL.
forward to that.
Speaking of that, we just announced the SKR token. Obviously, there's a large percentage of that airdrop allocation. What do you think, like a token that's essentially sort of like a flywheel for developers, users, and all this stuff? How do you think like that, something like that, in terms of incentives, could help people in the dApp Store, help CFL, like attract users' attention? Like, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think incentive is the best way to kind of like attract people to your app. And then we were expecting the SKR token to be like one economic layer of CFL. I don't know what that looks like. I don't want to spill too much.
Yeah.
But we were hoping that's going to be like the case for CFL.
Yeah. What's next for the future of the Crypto Fantasy League guys? Are we going to see some new sort of features within CFL? Do you guys have plans for expansion into some additional like suite of mobile apps? I don't know if you're even allowed to talk about that.
I hope I'm not going to getting yelled at after this, but yeah, I can spill a little bit. So the alpha is we're going to have some new modes. I don't want to talk much, but that's it.
So some new stuff's coming.
Yes, of course. We're always cooking something behind the scene, and then we're gonna do a lot of like events, like Christmas events. We're gonna host a Winter Tournament Cup next week actually, and then we're gonna distribute a bunch of rewards. And next year it's World Cup, so we're gonna do something about that.
Perfect.
Yes.
Perfect.
So it's gonna be some like huge campaign going on.
Well, truly appreciate you guys being early stage Solana bulls. Like, in order for something like Solana Mobile or Seeker to work, it's going to live and die by the apps that decide to build on it. And having CFL and the early guys who decided to do Seeker season with us is really huge. So thanks for joining. Ryan Chen, Crypto Fantasy League, Solana Mobile Seeker. Let's fucking go. Thank you.
RFG.